We need to have a talk. I think it's really important that we actually sit down and talk about how to get a business to 100K per month profit. So that's the direction that I'm heading in over the next 6 months, especially going into 2025. I'm now switching my focus to focus on having a business that has a 100K per month profit, which means take home in my pocket every single month. So I've been starting this transition over the last year, but now it's time to execute. And because in true fashion, what I'm really good at is sharing the journey. So in this video, I'm going to really focus on breaking down exactly what my plans are to get to 100K per month profit, why I want to do this, and what's really important to me on this journey. I think that it's so cool to talk about revenue and revenue. I will never be that person to be like, well, what's your profit? I can't stand people like that because at the end of the day, yes, profit is important, which is why we're talking about it today. But if somebody has signed a legal contract with you as a coach or a service provider saying that they will pay that money, right? Like to me, that guarantees and that shows that, like, yes, they found a lot of value in that. And even if they don't always pay or they churn out or what have you, I still find value in that and celebrating that. So I just want to put that out of the way because I know a lot of people want to come into people's comments. Well, you did 100K sales. What's your profit? Yes, I think transparency is important, of course. And also, like, can we just celebrate people for once? So those are my thoughts there. I'm gonna leave that to the side, but I want to kind of transition into talking about why I want to get to a 100K per month profit business in the next 6 months. So brief little backstory. I've been running my coaching business since 2019. So we've done fairly well. We've done a little bit over $2 million in cash collected in the last like 4.5 years ish. And I'm really proud of that. I'm super proud of that. And I realized that I have been living in a state of burnout for the last really 7 years. So prior to even starting this business. And I have had a lot of different things come up in my personal life and with my health. And I'm looking back at the business that I've built, and I'm just not fully aligned with continuing to run my business in that way. Now, let me give you context. So, for most of my business, I've spent it doing high ticket coaching. And spoiler alert, we're still going to be selling at a premium. But I've spent most of my business doing traditional funnels where at the beginning it was like a video sales letter to book a call, quickly hated calls. So I've actually been selling without sales calls since the beginning of 2020, which is something that a lot of people in this space are really wanting to do. So for 4 years now, I've been selling without sales calls, but overall, I've still been running a very traditional high ticket business where cold traffic, they find you through and watch a free piece of content, free training. They apply to work with us. And then from there, we get them enrolled into our high ticket program. And that has worked really great. But I've realized that the stress of running that type of business with and the profit margins were good, but when you're running ads and you have a team, and at one point I had employees for a couple of years, like it starts to really weigh down. What should have been a 70, 80%, 90% profit business quickly turned into a 30%, 40% profit margin business. And for me, when I think about what I want for the future, that's just not aligned. So, running that business in the past, I've had client success coaches, I've had co-coaches, I've had operations managers, I've had an admin that was a full-time employee, I've had sales team members, I've had the whole gamut. At one point, I think I had a team of 12. And what really broke the straw that broke the camel's back for me is after, at the end of 2022, and I've been on this journey for a while, figuring out what's my new lane. And I finally have figured it out. But at the end of 2022, I had to have a surgery, which I was then at that point diagnosed with stage 3 endometriosis. I've since been on a healing journey. I was so happy to get answers, but I realized that, like, what's the cost, right? I was working a good amount of hours, right? I wouldn't say I was working 60 or 70 hours a week, but I was working every day. I was in the DMs every day. If I wasn't serving my clients, I was coaching my team members. I was answering questions for the sales team. Like, it was just never a day off. And I get being an entrepreneur, there are really no days off. There's none, right? But at the end of the day, after having that surgery, it really put a lot in perspective. I had a really big month, 2 months after that in January 2023. And I would say probably mid 2023, I started to notice like our sales slowing down. At one point, we were doing 80K, 90K, 100K cash months, and slowly that started to become 60K, 50K, 40K. And I realized that, at the end of the day, it's not because the clients weren't out there. It's because the way that I was running my business wasn't aligned. I had, like I said, employees, sales team members, and all those things in place, and it just was no longer in line for me. So over the last, really in 2024, I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly how I want to run a business. And I haven't really found too many people running the business in the way that I've wanted. So I've taken it upon myself to really just like lay it all out for myself of like what would actually make me the most happy, because at the end of the day, I've realized that having joy and having CEO joy is the most important, no matter what anybody has to say about it. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I have to run this business every single day and I have to show up, I have to serve my clients. And one of the aha moments I found was that the more, once my team members and people left for various reasons, compensation packages that I couldn't match. I had a team member, a full-time team member that left to take care of her mom. Like, I didn't actually have to let go of anybody. In that instance, I know a lot of people are like, I fired my team and all of that. I didn't actually do that because I just personally, I didn't want to do that. So I let people finish out whether they were in contracts or whether they were, transitioning out for other things. Like I still had a lot to figure out in that. So slowly over the last year, I've had different team members leave and I've just not replaced them, which leads me to today. I have two team members and I'm going to kind of break down exactly the business model that I'm running and then my path to get to 100K month profit. That's take home after taxes. That's cash money in the bank in my bank account. So again, kind of backtracking really quick, the aha moment for me was realizing that like with these team members leaving, I was seeing my profit go up and I was seeing my stress level actually diminish. And I realized that it traded, like this hyper scaling model for the pressure of managing a team, hiring a team, training a team, and just that type of stress. And I never ever wanted a big team. I never did. I have a background in HR. So I say all that to say that led me to present day, right? The team has slowly wilted its way out. And right now it's me and two primary team members. And I'm looking at that like, wow, the sky really is the limit. And I have secured myself in the knowing that CEO joy is my priority. So let's kind of talk through, why I decided to make this decision. I decided to make this decision because I want to. I did no longer wanted to run this hyper scaling business. I wanted a business that was focused on me having a life that was priority versus trying to serve everybody else in that, because I was looking at myself at the end of the night and I wasn't even serving my damn self. And I was like, I didn't start this business for this. I didn't. And I'm so grateful that I had the experience with the team members and the employees and the scaling and the, nearly 200K sales months. Like I'm so grateful for that. But like there should be no reason that we make 100K a month and we're only profiting 15 or 20K. That just no longer worked for me after ads, taxes, paying for the team, etc. So that leads us to present day and my goals for the next 6 months to get to 100K profit months. So now that I have a business, the foundations of a business that I want, here's what that's actually going to look like. So first and foremost, I'm going to be doing social media in a way that feels absolutely abundantly good to me and brings me joy. That means I'm not going to be over editing my content. I'm not going to be sitting down to film shorts necessarily by themselves anymore. I was trying to do that. And I just find that I'm a lot more natural and the content comes across way better when it's just shared in the moment. It's not scripted. There may be bullet points, but I find like over editing gave me anxiety. It costs more money having an editor. And I was just like, I don't need to do that. All I need to do is share my voice and share my expertise. So what that's going to look like is having content that's really authentic to me. It's not overly edited. It's going to be, I'm a much more strategic educational teacher. So it's going to be content like that and also content that shares, the identity piece, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, how much money you make if you don't believe that you're worthy of it. It also doesn't matter how you get there. I believe I have the best way for my people, but it doesn't matter how you get there until you believe that you deserve it. So if you believe that every single sale has to be on a call, trying to sell without calls, it's going to be a mind F. It really is. So there's a lot of identity pieces that we have to tackle as well. And primarily working with women, like I know women like the back of my hand because I am one. And there's just different levels and obstacles that we go through. So that's something specifically that I'm really excited to talk about because it's about choosing yourself first. It's about setting boundaries. It's about all of that. So when I think about social media. I'm going to let social media be fun again. And I'm not going to just be focused on, sure, there'll be some content that goes a little bit more viral than others, but 80 to 90% of my content is going to be focused on delivering my authentic message, demonstrating competence, and not just adding value, but furthermore, being really crystal clear on how I can help you, how I can serve you, and showing you the way, right? I'm going to give you a lot of advice along the way, a lot of tips, a lot of insight, all of that. And then from there, like, that information is free, but implementation is a cost. Okay. So we'll have different offers and price points to meet people and meet our clients where they're at. So that's the first thing. So what that's going to tangibly look like is I'm going to focus on one primary social engagement platform, which is going to be Instagram. So Instagram is my bread and butter. I love it. I currently kind of spread my time between Instagram and Facebook, say 80% Instagram, 20% Facebook. But my goal is to kind of really the goal is to really dwindle down on Facebook and continue to really pour all of my energy and effort into Instagram, because Instagram is an engagement. It's a social engagement platform. So yes, we'll be repurposing content. Yes, all of that's going to happen over there. We have our automations, all of that. But really where I'm going to engage with my audience is going to be on Instagram before they become a customer. And I'm going to be speaking to possibility, what it looks like, what's possible, how you can work with me in small containers and small offers. And then also I'm going to be using that platform to speak to the woman specifically that's already in my containers that wants to take that next level upgrade and reminding them who the hell that they are. So I'm going to be using my platform to do both. Speak to my ideal clients of what's possible, and also speaking to my current clients and current students of like what else is possible, what's next, and reminding them why they started in the first place and how they're going to continue to overcome. So it's basically a giant love letter to everybody, right? That is meant to work with me and be in our energy. So that's Instagram for me. The second part of this is like, so we have to think about generating leads. So I'm going to have a primary way to generate leads, and I'm not going to stress about it. And I am the ads girl through and through, and I have been for years. So my primary method of lead gen is going to be Instagram ads, point blank, period. I think that's pretty straightforward, but I don't want to stress out about where new people are going to find me, right? And this has been a pretty consistent for the last 3 years. So that's not really changing, but it's doubling down and putting all of our efforts specifically on Instagram ads as far as lead generation. Now, the third part of this, as far as like social, I'm going to make daily invites for people to join my owned audience over on the Online Coach Digest. So that is where we share insights and tips, and I'm documenting my journey on scaling to 100K profit months inside of my business. So that newsletter is, I'm going to take it big, because the goal one day, if I'm being very honest, is to sell the newsletter, right? But for now, I want to document that journey. I want to document my journey to getting 100K months and like completely upgrading my entire life with that. And then also documenting growing this newsletter. It's a huge part of, growing a business and a brand. So I want to document that. And I know that the best next place for my audience to get value, because only 1 to 3% of your social media followers even see your content, is going to be the newsletter. Okay. Fourth is going to be really redistributing my core content platform is going to be YouTube. YouTube is exactly where you're watching this video now. If you're watching it on YouTube, it's going to be where I share my thoughts and my big ideas. And, I don't, people say being a thought leader, but for me, it's really all of those pieces of just putting it all together, because the best metric, what I've seen, is that the more that people consume, right? It's a strategic part of the funnel, right? The more content that people consume, the more they're apt to buy. So if a person finds me in my funnel and they're not sold yet, which is okay. Most of them aren't going to be, that's okay. But they come and binge 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours of my YouTube. They're going to be way warmer and way ready, because they already know my process, right? If they can watch me on video. So YouTube is going to be my core platform as far as distribution of my content. Okay. Instagram is an engagement platform for me, and a lead generation platform, or YouTube, I can't really interact with my leads. I can't really have a conversation. So the goal is to have additional folks find me on YouTube, but really the goal for YouTube, because it's going to be a little bit more niche, is for people to consume content, get nurtured, and build that know, like, trust really fast. Okay. YouTube is a long game. So I'm not looking to, go viral overnight or have millions of subscribers yet. It is a long game, and I'm going to treat it as such, as a really cornerstone of the business. Okay. So that's kind of the social media growth, nurture aspect of the business, marketing, and all of that. Now let's kind of talk about sales and offers. So for me, I have been pretty consistent with this by focusing on one primary offer and selling it multiple ways, but I'm really going to be super strong and focused on what that looks like. And that's going to be looking like selling levels of access to me. What I found when I dug in after scaling my business back is that the more time that I personally spent with my clients, the better results I got, period. And if I don't have to spend as much time doing marketing and sales and managing a team, where does that time actually get to go? It gets to get poured back into myself, of course, and taking care and being the best human, woman, partner, coach that I can be, right? But furthermore, as far as a business component, it actually goes back into pouring into my clients. So for me, if I can spend time getting them better results, right? That's a actually not 365, but that's a 180. So for me, I don't have to spend as much time like hard selling, and not that I really ever did that, but like having to be in the DMs all day and needing to manage a team. People are going to come to me because they've been referred, they've gone through my funnel, they found me on YouTube, they see me everywhere. So from there, like the brand just and the offer sell itself. So if I can focus on selling access as an offer at different price points and spending more time serving my clients, that's going to do a huge job for me. So I don't have to stress out about, marketing and sales constantly, because it's going to take care of itself. Okay. So selling different access, because more than ever, people want to actually speak to the creator of a program. And I've always been involved in my programs. That's one thing I can say. But when I think about the next level, it's getting retapped back into that. So that's what that's going to look like. And I'm going to do that in just a couple hours per week. Okay. So I'll have my one-to-one offer, and then I'll have my community, which will be leads on autopilot. And that community is going to be for folks that are really looking to have a business that really runs, like on autopilot, and wanting to learn my core processes as far as like marketing and sales. And then I'll have other offers outside of that, which is really cool. So that's what that's going to look like. And when I think about selling access, it's more of an offer path than an offer suite. Okay. So the path of the offer is when people find me through my workshops or my digital products, and I'll talk more about that in a second, they'll have an offer path of like, okay, I really like Latisse. I really like what she's teaching. I really want a business like that. Then they'll join into the community, or they'll go straight to one-to-one. And it creates a more seamless path than trying to take somebody completely cold to be a client in this market right now. It does work. It absolutely works, but it's going to be a more seamless path to take people from a lead to a prospect, or prospect to a lead to a student to a client to a raving fan. And that's what I'm on the path for, right? I'm on the path of longevity with this business. Okay. The next part of this is kind of talking about that. It's like having the belief that I'm going to sell everybody something. So whether it's a low ticket offer, a digital product, I'm already teaching these pieces inside of my more premium community-based offers that have access to me, or my one-to-one. So now I'm just going to be extending the invitation to others to learn a piece of the puzzle, a part of the pie. So instead of just teaching all of that for free all the time, I'm going to invite people to make a small investment in themselves. And I'm going to invite people to the workshops and invite people to the new offers that I'm rolling out, so they can get a little appetizer. So instead of just adding value, I'm going to be extending invitations for people to purchase. Okay. Which I'm really excited about, because people love to buy. They really do. You just got to make the offers to sell to them. Okay. The next part of this, I've been doing this for 4 years, so this doesn't change, but I'm going to change the way we do it. I'm going to sell mostly with Google Docs. I've been selling with Google Docs for the last year, and it's been a complete game changer. So I'm going to actually be looking at testing, and I don't know for sure, right? This is all a big test, but currently we have a full application process, and I may keep that, I may not, but still continuing to sell to empowered buyers without sales calls, right? You don't need a sales call if you're empowered and ready to buy, right? So for me, empowered selling looks like the prospect, the lead, the potential client making a decision when they're ready, because I'm not going to deal with these, like with people being in between. It's either a hell yes or a hell no. And if it's a hell no, that's okay. But people that are a hell yes are ready to buy and make an investment, period. Okay. So we're going to continue to sell without calls, because that doesn't bring me joy and I don't want to do it. And I also feel like the most empowered buyer, when they're ready, doesn't need a call. And I've seen that, for the last 4 years, and I'm going to continue to do so. The next piece of this is monthly recurring revenue is going to be our number one focus, growing our business, right? My goal is to get to 100K a month profit, period. And then from there is to figure out how to do that with monthly recurring revenue. And I already have an idea, but a big part of that is going to be doing it with, the different levels of access and the different offer pathways. So it's one primary offer, like period, but there's going to be different levels of access throughout. So making sure all of those different offers have monthly payment options as well. Not every single offer will, depending on the type of offer or the type of offer pathway or the type of level of access. But for the most part, our community-based offers will have payment options, and that's going to allow us to build up our monthly recurring revenue again back to a really, really comfortable place. So that we are like, I want to get to a place where more than double our expenses, including my payroll, is covered by monthly recurring revenue. So first off, 100K month profit, period, and then 100K per month in monthly recurring revenue profit. So we're not, and we don't now, and we haven't in, 4 years, but we don't want to be starting the month. You never want to start the month from zero. Okay. Cash flow is the biggest driver of a business. So for us, if we can look out 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and know we have 100K per month coming in, like, can you imagine the ease that gives you as a business owner? It allows you to make decisions and have choices. So I am really excited for that. Okay. The next part of this is lean team, no more than two team members, period. Just going to be me, my admin, and my my right hand, right? My operations person, like my right hand that can do basically a mini me, right? And I already have those two people in place. So they're going to be with me. And I'm really excited because I'm going to grow their skill sets and stretch them in a lot of different ways. But I don't want more than two team members. I'm not about it. We don't need it. It's not necessary. And I want to make sure that I'm giving them what they're looking for and vice versa. So they're really excited to take on the challenge. And it's going to be really fun. So lean team, less stress, more focus on, just doing more of what I also love and more of what they love too. And then we're going to do all of this with me working 4 hours a day or less, period. So we're not there yet. I do probably work about 30 to 40 hours a week right now, but the goal, and I'm already starting to cut things off my plate. Like, the goal is to do 4 hours per day. That's it. 4 to 5 times a week. So I like working, but I also have a lot of personal things that I want to accomplish. And it's just unnecessary to be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, in my opinion. It's just unnecessary with this type of model, right? I call it the 7-figure upgrade way. This type of model, you just don't need to do all that. So 4 hours per day or less. Some of that's going to be spent creating content for you guys on YouTube or my newsletter. And the rest is going to be to serve my clients. Anything else, I'm not about it. Okay. And then ultimately our goal is to grow to a wait list and grow our community. I don't know what that number is yet. Because obviously we're going to be raising our prices and things like that. But our goal is to go to a wait list, because when you have a wait list, you are a premium brand. It's a premium experience. And that's just what I'm about. I always want to know that at any point, like, sales are coming in, and they do now, of course, but like having a wait list is a different type of security that, like, I don't think anybody can explain. So we're not there yet, right? But we will be getting there. And by the end of the 6 months, my goal is to have a booked out a wait list. Okay. So that's what this game plan is going to look like for 100K month profit. And I'm so freaking stoked. I can't even tell you guys. I'm so excited to document the journey. First up, we're going to really be working on just continuing with YouTube. We've been really consistent the last couple months. If you're watching this video in the future, hopefully it's going to be, months and months and a year that we've been really consistent. Not hopefully, we will. But I just have a different identity about myself and a different identity about my clients that I want us to all be on this journey with. And I don't believe your business, you don't need to have a hyper scaled business to have a great life. For me, it's about having a lifestyle business model. And that's what the 7-figure upgrade way that I'm claiming it is going to be. So that's that. There's a last little piece I want to talk about is like personal codes of like that I'm going to live by. And there's more things that I'm still developing all of this out, but in real time, I'm documenting this process. So one of the things, especially with my, like, all of my clients, but like for me, it's always going to be to choose the upgrade. I just was having a conversation with my past client / friend now, and she had to take her daughter to her cheer game, and she lives, about, I think 30 minutes away from the downtown area of her city. And she lives in a metropolitan, and she was like, I really want to take an Uber Black, so I can get some work done or just rest. And I was like, well, what would your 7-figure upgrade do? She's like, I would take the Uber Black, I would rest, and I would just be catered to. I was like, well, then that's exactly what you need to do. So for me, again, what's the point of making all this damn money if you're not going to upgrade your life? Now, I'm saying you do whatever you want to do with your money. That's actually what I'm saying. Okay. So for her in that moment, to give her less stress and less pressure, it was to take the Uber Black XL, period. Right. So I'm always going to tell my clients to choose the upgrade. Okay. So for me, it's also living that, and I have been for a very long time in my life, but living that authentically, realistically, right? Whatever realistically is, but it's also being expanded in everything that you do. So maybe it's not choosing water at the restaurant. Maybe it's not Maybe it's taking the Uber Black instead of the regular Uber. Maybe it's shopping at Nordstrom instead of Target. Whatever that is for you, choosing the upgrade always. Okay. The second is going to be giving more than I get. I think sometimes we can get comfortable. So for me, I'm always in a heart of service, and this is something that I've always done. But the more generous that I am, the more that I give, the more that I will get because the universe rewards that. Okay. And it's doing with an open heart and an open mind and an open spirit. So that in all ways, right? And like not being self-sacrificial in ways, but also having really strong boundaries, right? And for me, setting boundaries is actually giving a lot to the people, so that to my clients and to people, because that's how they learn and that's how they can upgrade themselves. Number three, and this is the last one I'm going to share today, is there's going to be more personal codes of the seven-figure upgrade way and identity that you have to step into to really, because the seven-figure upgrade is not just about money, you guys. Like this whole movement that I have and my whole model of business and life, it's not just about the money, it's about who you're being, it's about how you're existing, it's about what you're saying, it's about what you're doing, it's about your habits, it's about all those pieces. Okay. So the third part of this is like, it's always back to what do I want? Period. My mentor, David Nagel, shout out to David, he's amazing, has always said it's all about what you want. Because at the end of the day, no matter what anybody has to say about it, what you want is the most important metric, period. Because if you're not getting what you want, none of this actually matters. So I'm always going to point my clients back to what do you want? What feels good to you? What feels aligned? This doesn't mean there's not going to be uncomfortable or, maybe situations where it feels heavy or there's contrast. But as long as you are aligned with that vision for the long term, you will be forever taken care of. You will be successful, and nothing and no one will stand in your way. So that's what I got for you guys. So that's my journey over the next 6 months. I was thinking about this video today when I was doing my bullet points today. I was like, okay, like what does this actually look like? Because I knew what it looked like, but putting it pen to paper, I'm like, wow, it's like real. But I think really the biggest piece that stood out to me was that at the end of the day, it's like I get to choose the business model that I actually want for once. I'm not following a specific coach or a specific this. I'm choosing the business model. And I've been practicing, I would say 60 to 70% of this the last year. But now it's time to just freaking execute and go like, balls to the wall, really, because at the end of the day, life is too short and too long, right, to wait to get a business that I really, really want. So that join me on the journey. I'm going to be documenting it over here on YouTube, on Instagram, and, maybe Threads a little bit, but I'm just really excited to share with you guys like how good business really gets to get when you have a business that puts your life first. So that's what I got for you guys. Follow me over on Instagram at Latice Hudson. If you found value in this video, please pop a comment below, hit the subscribe button, and let me know if you're on this journey and if anything felt connected for you today. But I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey in the next 6 months. Like I said, I was going to do it in 12, but I'm like, when you give yourself longer to do something, you take longer. So bump that. We're going to do it in 6. All right. So I love you guys. Because 6 months from now is right before my 32nd birthday. So we won't talk about that, but it's 7 months away. But I know I can do this in 6. So I'm really excited because for my birthday, I'm rewarding myself with a huge, huge, huge trip of a lifetime. So I'm really excited, and we gotta make this money to get there. So I'm excited. Like I said, if you love this video, give me a heart, like, and subscribe, and leave a comment below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.